Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 16 is entitled as Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the divine and demonic nature. Sloka 4, Part 4. Dambho darpo bhimānaś krodhaḥ pāruṣyam ajñānaṁ cābhijātasya pārtha sampadam āsurīm. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature, O son of Pṛthā. So we covered 4 qualities, the āsuric qualities. Now the 5th one is pāruṣyam. Sadhunam udvega karaha svabhavaha. Pāruṣyam means harshness, harsh behaviors towards others, which is considered to be another quality of demonic persons. Here, the harshness is towards the saintly people, sadhunam. Usually, the sadhus do not get disturbed, but act of such demonic people even disturbs such undisturbed saintly people. And that is the harshness we are talking about in this sloka. Harshness towards right candidates are accepted. Harshness towards atheistic people, harshness towards materialistic people, harshness towards people who speak ill about devotees, harshness towards those who does ill to saintly people, harshness towards who disrespect Vedas and the scriptures, harshness towards those who condemn God, harshness towards those who mutually contradict to the actual meaning of scriptures, harshness towards thieves and criminals. So harshness towards such people are certainly needed. Treating them harshly is very appropriate, but harshness towards saintly people cannot be tolerated. Over there, one should not apply tolerance as a factor. We should know that if the saintly people are removed from our life due to our harshness, our harsh behavior, we are the loser. We lost the great wealth that God has given to us. The Vedas have given us the injunction to follow the footsteps of the saintly people. By disrespecting the saintly people, the sadhus, we are disrespecting the Vedas. By disrespecting the Vedas, we are disrespecting the Supreme Lord, which means our spiritual progress becomes questionable. Rather, we degrade further into this material existence. To talk bad about the saintly people, devotees, is the quality of demonic persons. By disrespecting the elders, by disrespecting the saintly person, one brings pain in the heart of the Lord. When the Lord is dissatisfied, we are further pushed into this world. Therefore, we must be very careful not to commit any offenses to any devotees. Of all the offenses that committed to the devotees, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the Lord's mission, the Lord's holy name, is serious one. The Lord can tolerate offenses committed to Him, but He can never tolerate when His devotees are offended. Therefore, let's be very, very careful not to commit any offenses to any devotees. If we do so, our spiritual progress will come to a still. Lastly, the 6th quality is ajñānaṁ, ignorance. paravara tattva vishaya kritya akritya vivekaha. That is, ignorance about what should and what should not be done, and about which is the absolute truth, ultimate reality, and which are the lower order of realities. This is known as ajñānaṁ, ignorance, lack of knowledge. It is only due to lack of discriminating knowledge that there are various others who have interchanged the ultimate reality and the lower order realities. Meaning, it is well known through the Vedas and all scriptures that Krishna is Brahman, Krishna is Paramatma, Krishna is the absolute truth, ultimate reality. Whereas those who have lack of this knowledge, they try to interchange Krishna with other deities who are lower order in actuality, and they have advocated practices which are inimical to the scriptural injunctions. They have composed many verses both in local languages and in Sanskrit to capture the mind of innocent people, to head them in wrong direction, away from Krishna, who is one and only absolute truth, who has no one equal and who has no one greater than him. Sometimes people think sleep is in mode of ignorance, but it is not necessarily true. Sleeping at proper time is not considered mode of ignorance. It is not tamoguna. Likewise, lack of knowledge about useless things, material things, which are not beneficial for one's spiritual progress, are not considered to be ignorance, ajñānaṁ. Both of these are accepted. Sleeping at proper time is accepted. Lack of knowledge of useless things is also accepted as right. Ignorance of kritya akritya vivekaha, not knowing what to do and what not to do, to whom to do, whom not to do, is a sign of ignorance, inability to discriminate right things or wrong thing. They do all whimsically according to their own desire, doesn't want to accept, recognize any authority, spiritual authority, where one can provide good advices. Even if such good advices are given, these people out of ignorance rejects them. Ravana rejecting Vibhishana advices which were meant for his well-being, but accepting the advices of his ministers which were meant for his destruction. So he was not able to discriminate what is right and what is bad. So these are 6 qualities which are considered to be āsuric: dambha, darpa, atimānaḥ, krodha, pāruṣyam, ajñānaṁ. Dambha, performing deeds of righteousness, that is practicing dharma, not of the desire to abide the laws of the Lord, but to earn a reputation between one's circle, one's society. Number 2, darpa, the pleasure arising from one's wealth, son, wife, other sense objects, etc., makes a person become stuffy head, as they say, head weight, which robs one's sense of discrimination of right and wrong, due to being arrogant. Number 3, atimānaḥ, conceit. Conceit totally out of harmony with one's birth, education, age, etc. What it means is one tried to do excessive things beyond their age, education, birth, wealth, etc. Atimānaḥ. Number 4, krodhaḥ, anger which could cause injury to others. Number 5, pāruṣyam, rude disposition, being harsh towards good people, scaring away good people. And lastly, number 6, ajñānaṁ, ignorance about what should and what should not be done, ignorance about which is the ultimate reality and which one are lower in order. These are all āsurīm sampadam cābhijātasya bhavanti, the natural disposition of the demonic people, which is to transgress the orders, the commands of the Lord. They do not abide with the Lord's orders. Their tendency, nature, is only to disobey what the Lord has ordained. These people were not beneficiaries of Lord's glance at the moment of their birth. Those who got the glance of the Lord at the time of birth, it is said, ajñānaṁ hi pūruṣyam yam paṣyan madhusūdanaḥ. Those are the people who are sattvic because they are being glanced by Madhusudana at their time of birth. And Mahabharata further says, Pasyatyenam jayamanam brahma rudratva punaha rajasa tamasa chasya manasam sambhiplutam. If one is recipient of Vishnu's, the Lord's, benediction at the time of one's birth, one will have sattva qualities predominantly and will have desire for moksha. But at one's birth, one has been benedicted by Brahma, he will produce rajoguna, passion, predominantly. And if one has been benedicted by Shiva, one will only produce tamoguna predominantly. Therefore, it is said that those who develop devotion towards Krishna are considered to be devas, and those who are devoid of devotion towards Krishna are considered to be asuras. And such people will not have any of the attributes of the divine type of beings described earlier in Sloka 1 through 3. Rather, they have the characteristic that's been mentioned in this Sloka number 4. A question may arise whether it is proper to call the asuric dispositions as sampad, meaning wealth. Shouldn't it be vipad? There are 3 reasoning has been given in Tatpriya Chandrika. Number 1, yes, it is true that these qualities that's mentioned in the sloka are not good, but according to demonic people, these qualities are considered to be great according to them. That's their opinion. So for them, it is their wealth, sampad. As per their opinion, whose nature is to disobey the commandments of the Lord, these are considered their wealth. That's the first reason why it is called as āsuric sampad. The second reason, we can also take it that the term has been used in an ironic sense. that is, using words to convey a meaning that is the opposite of its literal meaning. For example, Tuesday is known as Mangalvar, but generally people avoid doing anything Mangal on that day. Likewise, Sampad is being used in that terms. The third reason that's been provided is the term Sampad can be interpreted as exists. The demonic properties exist in the āsurīk class of beings. Since it exists in them, it is said āsurīk Sampad. So, the primary reason for Krishna to speak about the characteristic of demonic type of people is so that we be fully aware of these characteristics and get rid of such tendencies if we have them. To summarize, practicing deeds of righteousness with a view to gain a reputation for one's righteous deeds, devotional services, dharma. Arrogance arising from the pleasures of sense objects, which in turn produces loss of discrimination. Pride in oneself totally unwarranted by one's learning and lineage. Anger leading to harming of others. Harshness of bearing towards others, which frightens good people. Ignorance regarding the distinction between the highest reality and the lower orders of beings, and also between what to do and what not to be done, belong to him who is of the demonic type. In the next verse, to generate earnestness and fear in the minds of both the types of people, Krishna speaks of the fruits to be had through these two modes of life, and also reassures the anxious Arjuna, because Arjuna now became fearful after hearing these qualities of Asura and Devas, not knowing which category he falls into. So Krishna is going to address these things in the next following verse. Dambho darpo bhimānaś krodhaḥ pāruṣyam ajñānaṁ cābhijātasya pārtha sampadam āsurīm. Namaste. Hare Krishna.